Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. So the preceptor, sent me this yesterday. The Esoteric Symbol. This is from a preceptor in France, and I'm not sure. He calls himself Theophile, I guess the elder. I don't know what Theophile is. And there's a Theophile of the younger, and he explains the Esoteric Symbol. And this is not like official. Like this guy has a website. He's got some things here. It's an old time preceptor who I believe knew Babaji. So I'll leave a link to this. I'm not, endorsing it. I read the beginning of it. I didn't get through it, all of it. But, it's something just for people to think about, not like this is official doctrine coming from Babaji or something like this. And, he talks about the center, and the center is the key to the symbol. The symbol, though, when he puts the symbol up here, he doesn't have the whole symbol, which is not so great. And it's not a great picture of it. So, you can take it for what it's worth. But he has other things here about Saj Marg that you might find, informative. I know the guy's name. It's Patrick Fleury, I believe. I never met him, but it's there. He's an old-time preceptor from France, and, he has some stuff up there for people to take a look at and see if you can, assess it for yourself. And it's just take it with a grain of salt. So, anything that's not official, it might be great. It might, be good. It might be okay. Might have some little information that's not true in it or misinterpreted stuff. So you just, you don't look at anything as being like factual. Only the stuff that comes from, this case would be Babaji and the Whispers messages and Charji commenting on these things. Everything else now, especially in the post, the dodgy era, has to be taken with a grain of salt. And, it's not all that important because what he says here is on this website is, the center is the most important part of the symbol. And if you see the whole symbol, it's always good to focus on the center because that's the goal. And I used the symbol last night in meditating on the Friday night sitting that we've been doing. And it had phenomenal results. Very great. I was very happy with the, using the prayer as a focal point because abstract idea of divine light in the heart is great for certain levels of people, but having something that's more, I don't want to say concrete, is to be the object of meditation because it's the same thing. Like it's the idea of divine light and the star symbol, the esoteric symbol, is the same thing, especially if you're meditating on the center point. But there's just a lot of energy in it. I've always been impressed by the energy in it. And people are experiencing the same thing. So, feeling like it's good that it's come about. I've had several people ask me where you can get the books for the Whispers of the Brighter World, and they're all out of print. They were special books. The first two were pre-ordered, so you had to pay in advance. The first one was $250, and Chargy said he had a special book coming out, and he wasn't going to tell what was in it. And he wrote an introduction. He had trouble accepting that this woman was, channeling Babaji in the beginning. This French woman took him a while to get on board with it because Babaji had opened his intercommuning point. Babaji used to intercommune with Lalaji and all kinds of various souls. Babaji would be sitting there in his courtyard smoking his hookah, and he would, all of a sudden just start basically talking to somebody or internalize talking to somebody, or he'd be giving a sitting, and he'd flop down from his chair and get on the floor, and after the sitting, he'd say, "Oh, Lalaji came in and gave the sitting." So Babaji was like was the best medium. The books, the recent orange books that are the newest volumes of the Whispers, are all Babaji's messages from divine beings. So there are the Whispers of the Bright World when Babaji was that were pulled from Babaji's diaries and interactions he's had with divine beings. So there was these 4 volumes of Babaji's whispers, and they are again not the Madame Malin whispers from the French lady. Those were 1 through 6. I don't know if any of them are still available. They're expensive books. The the second book was like 200, and both of those were leather bound. And then they started to come down in price, like they were not as nice, but still nice, and not as expensive to print. Chargy went all out in printing them. They were like really special books. The first one had all these cool transparent pictures in them, and very he put a lot of energy and effort in them. Like he wanted them to be special. And the last 3 volumes, the last 4, there might be some copies in bookstores. I got the second volume on Amazon. Someone told me about it. I think one of my viewers. There was one for sale, and these things could be high priced or whatever. I don't even know. There's a lot of books there that are floating around at used bookstores or online bookstores and things. They have people who, like, let's say they quit doing Sajmarg, or they, somebody died and they had a bunch of books and the family sells them, whatever. They end up on some sort of Amazon, or there's all these online used bookstores. And so some of these things will become available. Babaji's family, who quit, and they were in a legal battle with Charji, and they started their own mission. They showed it up at the Molina Ashram and were looking for a copy of the book, years ago. But they're just rare. The thought was they were going to be reprinted, and in a much more cheaper format, just a regular book format, not these special books. I'll take a picture of them sometime, or I have to dust them off and all these things. But they came in these boxes, some of them. But they're just all, they're out of print. Some of them are, you can still find, I could still find them in India. But they're just, and we'll see what happens with them. The Whisper a Day, good idea to save those. The ones that, there's lots of us who've been saving them for years. And, I'm categorizing these ones. I think I've saved all or most of the ones to do with the esoteric symbol. And maybe I'll put it together in in some sort of PDF format, and people can, read all those whispers. But I read all of the ones I have in the first video in this series. So you have it on video, and you can look up I give the dates of the messages, so you can look that up in the prophecies. I mean, the whispers search function on the, Whisper a Day. There's a thing called a Whisper a Day, if you're not aware of that, where you get a message every day. And now they're coming out in order. It's going to take a while to get them all, get through them. And some of the messages were never printed in a book. All the messages after 2012, they were new messages. They never made it into a book. They just were on this, a Whisper a Day. So, that's how it's going to go. You can either find the books somewhere, or, as these books enter into the marketplace, these used books. I doubt Daji is going to reprint them because of he's just doing his stuff. All the books he's putting out, once in a while he puts out a Lalaji or a Babaji book, but nothing from Charji. He was into whispers, Daji, so he might print them. I don't know, reprint them at some point. I don't know if what they're. I mean, I just don't know. It's such a messed up situation there, and so it's. I mean, these books are going to be precious into the future. But right now, you could save all the whispers, as long as the internet is still up and they're putting these out. And you could print out your own volumes, privately. I mean, this is, copyright issue. You can't sell them or anything like that. Somebody asked me to put the Esoteric Symbol on a T-shirt. And again, this is something that is, the property of Sajmarg organization. I can't use it and print it. And it shouldn't be on a T-shirt. Babaji, Charji one time was at a gathering, and somebody showed up with a T-shirt with the emblem printed on it. And he said, yeah, don't do that. Don't. It's kind of disrespectful. So, it's not, the emblem is a sacred or whatever, and the symbol. So he was against that kind of thing. And really, it isn't, it isn't for that. It's kind of a private situation where you look at the pictures, and you could print out a picture and put it on your wall. People have done that. Again, looking at it enough, looking at it every once in a while, you just have a mental, impression of it. But really, you're just meditating on the idea of it, and it's something where you're meditating on the central region, the center. And like I said, the experiences of my meditations have just gotten better using it in the past, and now most recently. And so I'm glad it's come up again. There is mission literature in the I have it all bookmarked. People, again, if you haven't read all the introductions to the playlist and watched all the videos, again, you don't have to watch the sitting videos, but the ones where I explain things on this YouTube channel, then you don't have all the information, because people are asking me questions quite often that I've covered in the videos, which I've explained in the videos. And so that means you're not getting the knowledge that you need before doing the sittings, which is in the playlist. There is links to all these resources in many, there's a description box on every playlist, and there's the mission prayer that you need to say before doing the meditation, and there's links and things there. And then there's some of these books that are online, the original books. But in terms of the Whispers of the Brighter World and a lot of these Chargy books, some of them are available in the online where people have used bookstores, and maybe there might be a few copies of one book or another floating around at at various bookstores. The ashrams usually have a bookstore, and then whatever is on the the California one, the online bookstore that's in California. But other than that, they're out of print, and there's a lot of books that are out of print, and finding them, it'd be great if people doing Gratefullness found these books. I every once in a while I'll look at them and I'll buy some, but I have a lot of them, but not all the ones I had. When I came back to India, my books were in storage with my ex, and she didn't return most of them to me. So there was that. There's other things like family photo albums, and just things I had to. Well, I just those things are gone forever. My childhood pictures and things, and so it was just the storage unit, and the stuff that was sent to me smelled moldy, so that was not great. So whatever. I've bought some of the books. I don't read like I used to, and so I have some of the good copies of books, and then moving forward with the Gratefullness, whatever becomes of what we're doing here, it'd be great if the full collection of books was there. There was a period where Daji was printing all these books in on paper that was, I think they called it archival paper, and these books were supposed to hold up for hundreds of years. And he was doing that because of the prophecies and the Whispers of the Brighter World. So he started selling these books, but they were big. They were really big and hard to read. I don't know what he was thinking. They were like the kind of books you see on coffee table books, huge books. And he has a thing about big books. And he printed the Whispers 6 as a big book. It was really hard to read, and it was so cheaply done that the pages were coming out. I mean, he has just all these failures. But the archival paper was a good idea, so that these things could be preserved in a post-apocalyptic kind of situation, because it'd be a shame if these things were all lost. But there's a lot of them floating around. I contacted my old preceptor. I tried to on Facebook. That's the only place that I have any access to him. I don't know if he's still alive or he was having mental issues. I don't know if he's divorced or not. I really didn't know his wife all that well. But he has all these books, and I don't think his wife or his kid is practicing. I think they'll probably sell them. And I would love to get all of his books, just, for sentimental value, and he had all these books that would be essential. But it's something it's been on my mind to be aware of these books and search for them every once in a while. Books that I, you know, would like to get, or books that are, to me, have particular value in my practice. And I think I have all the In the Footsteps books now, all the Diaries of Chargy, and all the complete works. I think I have, a good portion of the books. And like I said, you can look online and just be aware of them. But in terms of them coming out again, I don't know if there's any desire for them to print them. The mission's such a mess now, and Daji's such a, wherever he is, it's like you just can't count on them for doing anything that would be good for everybody. And then in the post Daji era, we'll see what happens. But they might abandon the whispers messages altogether. Like there's some people who don't like them. The Daji truther doesn't like them. So there's people who don't like the whispers messages, who don't believe in it, and so there's that as well. But the books are there. There were so many printed, and people have them, and they'll probably be a part of some estate sales and end up on the internet at some point. And then you can pick them up, but it's not it's something that you'd have to be vigilant and just focus on and search every couple of weeks or whatever, and just like I get somebody told me there's a Whispers of Brighter World on Amazon, and it was the one I was missing. Like I was so it's meant to be, and it's the one that has the esoteric symbol, so I've used it here. So anyways, so that's the info on all that stuff. And again, it's more of like what's going to happen in our civilization. There's a sort of a truther guy who was one of the original survivalist type people. And he said that the wealth in the future the man's wealth in the future will be measured by the size of his junk pile. And there'll be a time where everything isn't being produced and we're just looking through scraps to maintain whatever lifestyle we have. I mean, that's, one theory. And I would look at the Sajmar literature like that there was a time where Chargy was printing new books, 3 or 4 new books every year. And, books that were printed in English, he was printing them in different languages, and, all these books, and there was DVDs coming out, and there was a wealth of literature and content. And, now they've done a lot of stuff on YouTube, and their videos suck, which you guys all know. But they're not doing that. They're not reprinting these books, and so they're just, whatever's been printed is there. That everything else is, like it's going to disappear. That's the latest update. We had a lightning strike last night. I'll talk about that on probably the Journey series, and also on a video today. It didn't hit the house or anything, but it was like woke us up. It was close to the house. Like my wife and I were. It was loud, like a bomb went off. So that was, that's the 4th lightning strike I've experienced. I'm going to talk about that in the Journey series, and then on another my video on my other channel. But anyways, let me wrap this one up. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting for the Apocalaughs and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.